Hello everyone, welcome, Rabbi Abe here. Today I'm going to talk about astrology. Not only any astrology, but Kabbalistic astrology. I get asked this all the time. What's the difference between conventional astrology and Kabbalistic astrology? Especially by Jews. Never mind. Many Jews, especially those practicing Jews, say there's no such thing as astrology. How can you talk about astrology and stars? There's nothing in the Jewish religion about astrology. Well, I hate to disappoint you, but there is, and it's probably you just don't know about it. And I'm going to bring you some of those references and explain that to everybody for everyone's benefit, because we need to know how to use astrology and not let it use us. And what's the reason? What's the reason? And in fact, we just started a new service on rabbiabe.com, which is the creation of Kabbalistic astrology reports. And I'll explain to you why that's a good thing or why that's an important thing. But we do need to understand what our Tikkun is, what our corrections in life is, if we are to be able to do our spiritual work, as you will see. So I just want to first bring you several references from the Zohar, main source text of Kabbalah. There are many sources of astrology and planetary influences in the Talmud as well. But let's start with this, okay? So the basic understanding of the influence of the stars according to the Zohar. Again, main source text of Kabbalah, which decodifies the Torah. And the Zohar explains that the celestial bodies, meaning the stars and constellations, have an influence on humanity. Also, it teaches that the planets and constellations are channels through which divine energy of the Creator flows into the physical world, affecting a person's nature, tendencies, and even or especially destiny. Now, let me explain this with a concept that most people are familiar with, certainly most Jews are familiar with, but don't maybe really understand the ramifications. When there's a happy occasion, and I'm talking specifically, let's say, to Jewish people, because they'll probably be more familiar with this idea, even though many people who are not Jewish will also be familiar. When there's a happy occasion, be it a wedding or a birth of a child, there's a phrase which is used to wish. Well, this is the question. What is the wish exactly? What are we wishing? But understandably, good wishes. And the phrase is Mazal Tov. Mazal Tov. Now, what does that actually mean? Now, if you're not Jewish, you might think it means congratulations. Even if you are Jewish, you might think it means good wishes. And it does not mean anything of the sort. In Hebrew, if you want to ask someone, what sign are you? Like in the pub when you wanted to go, find a date. In Hebrew, a man would say, Eza mazal at. What sign are you for a girl? What is your sign? Mazal means a sign, as in constellation. So, unbeknownst to most people, or probably don't think about it, when you were saying Mazal Tov, and you thought you were saying something to the effect of congratulations or good wishes, no, you were not. What you were really saying was, I wish you to have a good sign, as in zodiac sign, constellation, because that is the word which is translated to a constellation, and there's no way around it. That's what it means, and that's how you say it. A mazal is a constellation, a zodiac sign. So Mazal Tov means a good zodiac sign. What does that mean exactly? Is there a good zodiac sign or a bad zodiac sign? Well, yes, every sign is good or bad. which means has positive tendencies and has negative tendencies. Let me read to you an excerpt from the Zohar in the section of Vayera. If you're familiar with it, it's 119a, that's the reference. When a person is born, his fortune or his destiny is written. And it is written according to the stars, to the constellations, yes. Yet the righteous, whatever that means, we need to understand that. The righteous can rise above the stars through merit. What is merit? Meaning, according to your maybe positive activity, positive actions, an ability to overcome or rise above. He says, they say a righteous person, but we need to understand what that means. Okay, so a righteous person can go above the influence of the stars. The Zohar teaches that through Torah, mitzvot, and spiritual transformation, meaning spiritual work, a person can break free from the influence of the natal chart and recreate their destiny. Can you imagine? We have a possibility to recreate the destiny that we have, that we've been given, but we have to know how. Knowledge, knowing, is a connection. As it says, Adam knew Eve just by knowing, and she bore Cain? No. But knowing, consciousness is the connection to be able to do anything. Without consciousness, it's death. With consciousness, consciousness gives every action that we do life. The Zohar, another Zohar reference in Shemot in Exodus 171b. And this really must be understood and will explain what it actually means. It doesn't mean what it appears to mean. Israel is not bound by the planets. For the power of prayer, Torah, and righteousness can elevate them beyond the mazal, beyond the destiny and fate. But what does it mean? Again, righteous. What does righteous mean? And what does Israel mean? Does that mean Jewish people? No. It does not. Does it mean Israelis, people who live in Israel? No, it most certainly does not. So what is the meaning of Israel? In fact, the Talmud says there is no sign, meaning zodiac sign, for Israel. Now, unfortunately, and this is unfortunately the misunderstanding of religion, Judaism in particular, where many or most take that to mean, well, if you're Jewish, even though, yeah, maybe there is something kind of, in astrology, but you don't need to worry about that because you're Jewish and you're not affected by that. Because it says there's no sign for Israel. Yeah, well, I hate to break the news to you because Jewish and Israel have absolutely nothing to do with each other. And again, as I said, it doesn't mean if you're born in Israel that you're part of Israel. It's not geographical. It's not geological. No. Israel represents a spiritual consciousness, which I'll tell you about in a moment. And I've mentioned it before. Okay. Zohar, Toldot, another section of the Zohar, 137a. Abraham saw in the stars, and we understand this is a Bible story, that he would not have a son. Yet God lifted him above the stars, and as it says in Genesis chapter 15, verse 5, God tells Abraham, go out and count the stars if you can count them. So shall be your seed. Was God telling Abraham literally to go out and count the stars? Is that possible? Can you actually count these billions of stars? And if he could count them, what would that accomplish, counting the stars? No. The Zohar says very clearly, when God says to Abraham, go out and count the stars, it means go out. What God was telling Abraham is, go out of your astrology and go above the influence of the constellations. There you will have a son, because Abraham was a master astrologer. In fact, he revealed the book of formation, the book of Abraham, Sefer Yetzirah, and in there are all the tools for us to rise above the influence of the stars and the constellation. Yes, that's possible. He explained to us how the Hebrew letters were vehicles, not just letters of a language, but rather vehicles to be able to elevate energetically, each one representing planet, constellation, and the DNA, which is the seed level, to be able to elevate beyond. One of the many tools, and I'll give you more tools in just a little bit, more tools to be able to help us to go above. So, what does that actually mean? To go above. And that's what we need to understand. There's a story which I've mentioned in the past about Jacob, who was running away from his brother Esau, who wanted to kill him. And he understood, and he had fear. He saw, really, Jacob was also a great prophet and was able to see, and he saw unpleasant things in the fact that his brother Esau was very upset with him. We won't get into that part of the story, but he had a vision, and in this vision, an angel came to wrestle with him. And as the dawn was breaking, the angel said, "Let me go because the dawn is breaking." And Jacob replied, "No, I won't. I won't let you go until you bless me." Now, this angel was considered the angel of death, the ministering angel of his brother Esau, who wanted to kill him. He was having a battle with him. And Jacob said, "No, I won't let you go until you bless me." So the angel replies, pay close attention, "Okay, what is your name?" And Jacob replied, of course, with his name, Jacob. And the angel said, "No, your name is now Israel, because you have fought the divine and have conquered." You fought the divine and conquered. What is this story telling us? And in fact, Jacob was able to overcome when at some point in the future, he did meet his brother Esau. And it says that Esau had 400 men with him, which is a code. The Kabbalists explain 400 as all levels of negativity, of death and destruction that Esau, his brother, had. And that's who he was coming with. All the negativity. Wow. But in that moment that they embraced, and Esau at that moment was to bite him and kill him, sort of like, a vampire. Instead, he fell on his neck, it says, and he kissed him. He kissed him with all of his might. He kissed him. Now, through Kabbalah, we understand that this very particular section in the actual Torah scroll, the word "he kissed him" is in Hebrew, vayishakehu. He kissed him, that's what it means. But very unusual, this word has one of 10 places in the scroll where there are some unusual dots. And there is a dot over each letter on the actual scroll, which most people never question. They think somehow, well, I don't know, it's just there for some reason. We don't know why. No, that's not true. We don't know why. There are 6 dots over the word in the scroll. One of 10 places where you have some unusual occurrence of a dot or dots, many dots. What did the Kabbalists explain of this phenomenon, these 6 dots? Well, these 6 dots represent the shield of David, which has how many points? 6 points. Not star. There's no such thing as a star of David. It's called in Hebrew Magen David, and Magen literally is a shield. And what does a shield do? Oh, it protects someone who's behind the shield. Yes. So somehow Jacob elevated, and in this elevated state, when he fought the divine, what was the divine that Jacob fought? He did spiritual battle, and the secret here, according to the Kabbalist, when it says, Vayavek ish imo, he was left alone. Jacob was levado, the word is in Hebrew. He was left alone, and Vayavek ish imo, a man wrestled with him. The word that alone, again, another code word, I'm sorry if this is confusing, it's 42. Coincidentally, 42. Well, where have we heard that number before? 42. Now, if you've been listening to this channel enough time, you understand 42 means something. It's the 42-letter name, which is called by Bekoach, which you can download, of course, on our site, free of charge. The Bekoach is called the 42-letter name because it personifies the 42-letter name of creation and causes one to be elevated beyond the level of the physical world. That he or she is not necessarily bound by the negativity that must be in this moment. We do have the capability to elevate above it. That's one of the tools. And so, when the angel who wrestled with Jacob said, wait a minute, what's your name? Jacob. He said, no, you've elevated. You've elevated to a state of consciousness called Israel. Israel is not a place. It's not a people. It's a level of consciousness, a higher consciousness, which guess what? Is above the stars and signs and limitations of the zodiac sign. So whereas the destiny might say, you're going to have a difficult time with abundance. You're going to have a difficult time finding a relationship. How many people come to me and say, I can't find, no matter how hard I try, I can't find my soulmate. I can't find the right people. I keep meeting the same, kinds of people who are not for me. Or, whatever other issues are that are part of the destiny of a person. It is possible to rise above that destiny. But you must go out of nature. You see, nature is called Jacob. I don't care what religion you are. That makes no difference. Jacob means, and that's what the Bible was telling us in a coded way, Jacob means a certain level of nature and destiny. Israel, again, no matter who you are, is an elevated consciousness which contains the shield of protection of Jacob, the shield of David, and it is an elevated state which is, to whatever degree you're able to achieve that, according to the level of the tools you use, according to your spiritual consciousness, according to your spiritual work. Don't get me wrong, work is necessary, tools are necessary, but we have the capability, once we know what it is that we're here to fix. And that's why I started the Kabbalistic astrology profile, so we would be able to know. So those who truly, truly desire to know, what is it that I'm here to do? How do I do this work? What tools should I use? Because you know what? There are spiritual tools suited for each individual. That's a benefit, to understand and to know how to use those tools. Which tools are they? So that state of consciousness is called Israel. And Israel, then we could understand what the Talmud says. Ein Mazal L'Yisrael, there is no sign. There is no destiny for Israel. Okay, it doesn't mean Jewish people. No. In fact, if you're Jewish and you don't know how to rise above and you think there's no destiny, I will tell you this. Yes, this is from me to you. You are more of a robot than anybody else. You're a robot of your sign. Whatever it is, go to bed. Now, I'm not saying to whatever degree, if you're truly doing spiritual work, if you study, if doing whatever, if you're using the tools that are prescribed, and there are tools, right? There are tools. If you understand prayer in a spiritual way, not only in a robotic way, if you understand, whatever, there are many tools. Well then, to whatever degree you are rising above. Now, in my experience, that's very few people. Okay, very few people. We want that to be way more people, because the more people that rise above their destiny, you remove not only negativity from yourself, but you are also involved in removing negativity from this world. Because there's a collective consciousness, please don't forget. And each one of us individually affect the collective. So, in summary, yes, we all have an ability to rise above destiny. Are we locked into any particular destiny? It will always be our framework. Now, what does that mean? It means our DNA, we don't change. There's certain things that are not going to change about us. But behavior can change. So the behavior within us can change, and we can even use our negative traits in a positive way. The computer hacker can now go to work, maybe, I don't know, as to help the government find, people, criminals who use computers and hacking. I don't know, as an example. If you bad people with your mouth, you can use your mouth, instead of using it to put people down, to elevate people and to give people praise, because you've been given power of the mouth. If you judge people, as an example, well, if you judge them to put them down to make yourself feel better, say, you know what? No, I need to transform this behavior and make people feel better by judging them favorably, even though right now I want to judge them and put them down because I think they did X, Y, Z. No. You see, we have the ability and the power to transform behavior, and that's what we need to do as far as behavior goes. Without the tools, I'll tell you, from personal experience, it's very difficult. When you understand the tools, and all these tools are available, and I'm going to give you some suggestions of tools, which you may have heard before, but not maybe in one place, then it makes the work easier. Number one, it's good to know whether Kabbalistic astrology report is very good. For those who can do that, that's great. If not, second best, some sort of conventional astrology report from or something. The only issue is you must tell that person who's doing that chart that you don't want any future. We're not allowed to tell future, because that can lock people in a certain destiny, and that is not good. We are able, the Kabbalists teach us, we are able to change anything at any given moment. Even till the last moment of life, a person is able to change and able to transform everything, even at the last moment of life. So it's never too late, okay? But anyone who tells us the future, or if you know that person can, no, you stay away from them, okay? Stay away from anyone who's going to tell you this is what's going to be with you. We're not permitted to do that, and it's very spiritually unhealthy, shall we say, okay? So, but it's important to know what we're here to do, okay? It is important to know what we are here individually to transform on a personal level. Number two, make use of the 72 names. Again, go to the website, free downloads, it's there, okay? Download the 72 names. We give you the QR code. right here to be able to download whatever tools, the 42-letter name, the Bekoach, and as well as if you have Zohar, or if you can get some, you can find on Amazon, or there are many other sources of Zohar in its original text. I don't care about the English translation. No. The Kabbalists explain that even if we do not understand a single word of the Zohar, you get your hands on some kind of copy, whether it's one volume or many volumes, makes no difference, whatever you can get. Get your hands on a copy of the original text of Zohar in the Aramaic language and start scanning it. Yes, you heard me right. Scan it. Again, I get questions all the time. Well, what do you mean scan? Scan. You take your finger and look at the words. That's it. Even without your finger. Just look at the words. Your finger just makes it easier. Look at the words from right to left and let your eyes gaze upon the letters, the words, line by line, and you scan it. And you concentrate that I want to draw cleansing to myself and cleansing for the world. It sounds illogical. That's okay. It has a great, great power of purification of the soul. That's the power of the scanning of the Zohar. Okay, guys? Lots of luck, lots of blessings, and lots of love. And I'll see you very soon on the next video. All the best.